Ryan Fowler. A little bit about myself. I'm an asset protection, estate planning, and global investing consultant. I have a nationwide clientele. The net worth ranges from about $200,000 to over $100 million. I'm the author or co-author of 2 books on asset protection. The latest is Asset Protection in Financially Unsafe Times. It's co-authored with Dr. Arnold Goldstein. It's the best rated and one of the best-selling books of its type on Amazon.com. In this video series, we're going to give you an overview of everything we're going to be covering throughout the entire video series. So the first thing we'll be covering is offshore trusts. We're going to talk about what is an offshore trust, when it's appropriate to use them and when you may not want to use them, the best jurisdictions to form your offshore trust in, and how well do they actually work. We'll actually go over a little case law regarding that. We're also going to talk about foreign LLCs. What is a foreign LLC? It's limited liability company, but how do they compare to offshore trusts, and when should you maybe use an LLC instead of an offshore trust, or maybe in addition to an offshore trust? And we'll talk about the best jurisdictions for forming a foreign LLC. We're also going to talk about international business corporations and other entity structures that you'll see in the offshore world. They're also called IBCs. We'll talk about Panamanian foundations and purpose trusts. What are these structures? Are they made obsolete by the offshore trust and offshore LLC, or are there some situations where you prefer to use one of these entities instead of offshore trust or offshore LLC? We're going to talk about banking in foreign jurisdictions. We're going to give you information so you can choose the best offshore banking jurisdiction for you. We're going to go over what reporting requirements and what you need to disclose to the IRS and the U.S. government when you have an offshore bank account or a offshore entity. Then we're going to talk about fraudulent transfer law. What is fraudulent transfer law? Why we must avoid fraudulent transfers at all costs? And what is the most important but least known secret to protecting yourself from a fraudulent transfer ruling? Then we're going to talk about repatriation orders. Repatriation orders and fraudulent transfer law, those are basically the 2 biggest things you have to reinforce your offshore structure against. So what is a repatriation order, and how we can use multiple firewalls when setting up your plan to avoid or defeat a repatriation order. We're going to talk about why you should invest offshore instead of in the U.S. First off, we need to let you know you don't get any additional tax benefits by investing internationally or offshore. That doesn't mean you cannot get tax benefits, it just means those tax benefits are also available if you invest in the United States. We're going to talk about the long-term investment in a global investment landscape. Here's a hint. Investing long-term in the U.S. and Europe is terrible, but there are other jurisdictions that are very promising, and there's no silver bullet or guarantee that you'll do well in any one jurisdiction, but there are on average higher potential returns in certain jurisdictions. And we'll talk about some of those jurisdictions that are doing really well, or at least a lot better than the rest of the world, which is Brazil, India, China, Australia, and a few other emerging markets. We'll talk about private placement life insurance. If you have $1 million or more that you would like to invest, then private placement life insurance will be your best friend, because it's a fantastic tax planning tool where you can legally reduce or eliminate income tax liability by investing through private placement life insurance. We're going to talk about why offshore life insurance or offshore PPLI, private placement life insurance, why is that better? We'll talk about additional asset protection benefits of using foreign life insurance, and we'll talk about how PPLI is different from normal life insurance. Normal life insurance oftentimes is not the best investing tool, but PPLI is substantially better. We'll explore why and compare the two. We're going to talk about annuities, the tax benefits of foreign annuities, how you can get the strongest overall asset protection when you use a foreign annuity with an offshore trust or in addition to an offshore LLC. We'll talk about the best jurisdictions for foreign annuity, how well do they actually work, and when you may want to use an annuity or PPLI. We'll talk about portfolio bonds. It's not too well known what a portfolio bond is. We'll discuss what they are and when to use them instead of a foreign life insurance or a foreign annuity. And this information we're giving to you so you will understand which asset protection plans work, which don't, and why. We're going to go over a little bit of case law, not too technical, but we'll go over that, statute law, other authoritative sources, so that you understand that this is solid, legitimate planning and not just a bunch of hype and misinformation, which is so prevalent on the internet and just in general. So in our next video, in the Offshore Asset Protection Secrets video series, we're going to talk about the 5 most important secrets you need to know about offshore trusts, and we'll see you in the next video. So if you've liked this video, I've got a copy of my book, Asset Protection in Financially Unsafe Times, as an ebook, a 20-minute no-cost consultation, and a series of asset protection secrets ready to be sent right to your email inbox. All this is free. Just visit www.assetprotectionoffer.com. Thanks.